Hi, Joseph McGuire again. And this is the second of the portraits, the facial analysis profiles of famous politicians. In this case, it's the Democratic nominee for the US presidency 2024, Kamala Harris. So let's bring up the image. Not the most flattering of photos. It's taken when she was accepting the vice presidency back in 2020. Presumably the sun was in her eyes and she was making sure she gave a very, very solemn image there. And again, to reiterate, this is not an absolutely in-depth portrayal. It's not to give deep, deep insights or intended to give deep, deep insights into the character. It's to illustrate what various of the features mean in terms of communicating with somebody with those features. I do welcome any comments, questions later, because I'm sure a lot of people will have a lot of different thoughts, feelings, opinions. And I am looking to be strictly neutral here. I have no political affiliations. So the first thing is that her face shape is a combination of two. In the Chinese system, which I primarily work with, there are 8 basic face shapes recognized, and hers would be a combination of rectangular and oval. The rectangular face shape we particularly associate with leadership qualities. And if you go back through history, you will often find portraits of kings, queens even, dukes, princes, rulers of countries, where the face shape is primarily rectangular. And people in royal circles, or particularly women rather in royal circles, were often chosen for more rectangular face shapes because it was perceived, at least, that they would be able to give birth to strong babies. I'll leave that one up to yourself to think about. So the rectangular face shape, as I say, is traditionally associated with leadership qualities. The more oval face shape is associated with somebody for whom harmony is very important in their environment, their workspace, their home life. So we do know Kamala Harris has been known to, shall we say, change positions on different issues. And that's more than likely, and you can say it's being political, but it's also indicative of a personality trait where there is a tendency to not want to upset people. Now, I am aware, of course, that many women sculpt and shape their eyebrows. So if we look at hers, even allowing for the fact that, yes, she has shaped them, the main body of the eyebrow is the thickest part at the beginning here. And when you see that on somebody, it tells you that being organized before they start something is very, very important. They do not like to start things in any kind of chaotic or disorganized way. Planning and preparation are essential for them. And if you're meeting somebody with those eyebrows, you need to be clear in what you're presenting to them. Any idea or proposal should be clear, because that's what they expect. That's what they expect of themselves, and that's what they expect of others. Now, we do note that her eyebrows become so much thinner as they progress out to the sides. And when you see that, that can indicate a tendency to kind of lose interest once things have really got going. So delegation would be hugely, hugely important to her. And knowing the right people, choosing the right people to delegate to, would be essential for her progress and her success. She also has some furrows here, the lower forehead, vertical furrows going up, which tells you she tends to put herself under pressure, can be very self-critical, has a distinct perfectionist streak. The nose itself is quite firm, well developed, and so again, tells you this is somebody with a lot of drive. But we note there's also a sort of a dip in the area of the bridge of the nose. So again, when you see that, you're meeting somebody with that dip in the bridge of the nose, it tells you that any meeting is important for them. Time is important. They value their time. They want to know why you're meeting, how long for, what is the purpose, and what is the expected outcome. And there will be an action plan at the end of the meeting. If you don't get all of that, you're wasting their time. Be very, very clear about that. We note that we can only see the left ear. I'm not touching my right, but we can see the left ear here. And the left earlobe is quite fleshy, which tells you this is somebody with very strong intuition. I would expect that her spiritual life is very important to her, but certainly this would indicate, this long fleshy earlobe would tend to indicate very, very strong intuition. She also has quite a flat chin here going as we go across. And obviously in the photo, she is kind of squinting, presumably there's light in her eyes, but the lower eyelids are quite flat, which with that combination of flat eyelids and the flat chin tells you that loyalty is very, very important to her, both receiving loyalty and giving it. And if she feels or senses somebody in her circle is being disloyal, they will be out. It really is as clear and as simple like that, because loyalty is simply non-negotiable for her. I'm just going to refer to one other particular thing. You notice the lower lip is kind of puffy, and there's like a white line or a pale line directly underneath the lower lip there. In the system I work with, I learned it initially as a diagnostic tool, and this area relates particularly to the colon. So when you see the puffiness like that, it tells you there is actually some likely inflammation in the colon itself. There is shall we say, a lack or reduced element of peristaltic motion. And the particular reason I'm bringing that up is because we now know so much about the gut-brain connection and how gut health impacts on our capacity to think clearly and the health of the brain. So when I see this in the area of the lower lip, I'm always concerned, because not only is there a degree of physical weakness in the colon, but it can also impact on their ability to think, process, and then obviously act appropriately in terms of major decision making. They are just a few ideas, few reflections on the face of Kamala Harris. Like I said at the beginning, I'm sure a lot of people will have a lot of thoughts, opinions, some favorable, some not. I welcome any comments. And as always, thank you so much for watching.